Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? Bitcoin. Are they starting to come out of that so-called crypto winter? I heard a guy say on the news that it's going to be a winter for cryptos for the next 2 years. I highly doubt that. I mean, he could be right, but I just can't see people being patient enough for cryptocurrencies over the next 2 years. I guess you can consider that an accumulation stage. That'd be the time where you just stack up as many of them as possible. Who knows? But there is some sunlight out of the dark clouds for cryptocurrencies. And what could be causing that? Before we get started, hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I certainly do appreciate it. If you're thinking about buying gold and silver, and as usual, you should be, go check out our friends over at Money Metals Exchange. The link is down below in the description. If you're a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and you will get a free half ounce of silver. So lo and behold, cryptos are moving up. Bitcoin was above 24,000, came down just a little bit, but overall it is up $898 for the day. Look at Ethereum, it's at $1,800. So we got Bitcoin at $23,938. Ethereum's at $1,835. Looking at the new world order coin, XRP, finally at 37 cents. Cardano, 53 cents. Solana is at $42.04. Polkadot's at $9.59. Dogecoin finally above the 7 cents. Polygon's at 93 cents. Shiba's at 4012. And as usual, let's go over to the charts and let me point out the obvious, that the one thing that I'm always concerned about. Take a look at the graphs. Do they look familiar? This was always one of my concerns about cryptocurrencies. They all move the same time, the same way. Not all of them, obviously. You'll see some in there that are an exception. But for the most part, they all move together. And that's why I always say high tide lifts all ships. So when Bitcoin starts moving, so do the rest of them usually. Ethereum's looking good. It's been outpacing as far as growth is concerned. Bitcoin so far this year, believe it or not, sitting at $1,835. It's up 8.59%, which is really nice. So Terra Luna added a zero, but nope, well, took it right back. There you go. You see that? That's what I'm talking about. Real life news right there. Anyways, the Terra Luna still sitting at 0.301. I'm waiting to see if it makes more of a move. Saitama, well, still sitting around the same area, 0.2032. Over this past week, we saw a decline just a little bit. There was some sharp drop-off right here. My understanding was there was a whale that dropped their huge holdings, but then we have since rebounded, so it's looking all right. As long as it's not dropping too much, I'm anticipating when the rest of the cryptos go up, they see Saitama do the same thing. And considering how cheap you could buy right now, it was still worth the investment for me, and I'm sticking to it. The Russian ruble, that's funny because if I don't report on this for a couple of days, people will ask me. So no problem. I can see people are paying attention to this. It got dropped down to 0.016. It's not very much, considering it's usually around 0.017. But the swings are very minimal. I say if you have it, just hang tight. We know that China and Russia, along with a lot of other nations, are getting ready to launch. And we believe it's going to be in September, by the way. They're going to launch their version of the reserve dollar that they're going to be using. Right now, China and Russia are running around signing up countries to use this new reserve dollar. And it's going to have a huge effect on the US dollar. So I'm curious to see what happens. But yeah, if you got the Russian ruble, hang tight. Because if they do make this announcement, I anticipate seeing the ruble really strengthen against the US dollar. So silver at almost $21 an ounce. It's getting there. It's $20.68. Since July 21st, it has been slowly but surely climbing up. You can see right there on the hour-by-hour chart, it's heading on upwards, as it should. We're expecting another explosive announcement here shortly. I don't want to jump the gun because it's not been verified yet, but as soon as the news comes out, obviously me and along with a lot of other people are going to announce it. You can almost guess what it is. But anyway, silver sitting at $20.68. Gold was above $1,800 a little while ago. It's came back just a little bit. Came down to $1,794.80. Right here when the market's open, both gold and silver shot up like a bat out of hell. You can see where gold was down here around 1790, and look what happened. It jumped all the way up there to 1807 and has since come back down. If you look at the hour by hour chart, same thing. Look at July 21st. Since then, gold has slowly but surely been creeping up again. And that's the direction you want it to go in. Anyways, again, gold at $1,794.80 and looking good. So the markets are supposedly reacting favorably to the announcement that the inflation came down just a little bit. Although I think this is BS. You got to understand that there's these powers that be that want to make sure that the same people that are in power right now stay there so they can continue the little criminality. And they'll do whatever it takes, include lie to your dang face about numbers. You got to love their attempt at telling the truth. Anyways, CPI inflation rate is finally falling. Much more than expected. Oh, is that right? Okay. The CPI inflation finally pulled back from a 40-year peak in July, as the consumer price index came in cooler than expected. Core inflation, which strips out food and energy prices. So before, when you used to look at inflation, of course, food and energy was in there. If that's the case, the number would be up in double digits. So anyways, as you can see here, it says core inflation, which strips out food and energy prices, also downshifted lower odds of a big Federal Reserve hike in September. Following the CPI report, the Dow Jones Industrial Average moved sharply higher, along with everything else, which is nice. We like to see go in a positive direction. The CPI inflation rate eased to 8.5%, retreating from June's 9.1%. And what is this person? Amid falling gas prices, retail discounting, the return of online deflation, and the plunge in shipping costs. So, first of all, the fall in gas prices is because we started using our reserves. That's why. The reserves. And by the way, it's not too far away from being depleted. Under Trump, I remember he added a ton to our oil reserves. We had an abundance of it, but now it's almost depleted. Go figure. Well, this is what happens whenever you have an administration in there in which the president himself has vested interest in foreign oil companies that we import from, along with his son. So the gas prices have come down just a little bit. But for most people in California, you don't even realize it because the change is so minor here in California. Retail discounting? The reason why you're seeing retail discounting, it's a number of things. First of all, a lot of the overseas supplies and shipments that they've been waiting for are starting to come into the stores. So a lot of stores are having to offload a lot of the inventory because they have too much of it. The other part of it is this: because people have been tightening up the belt so much, not sure what's going to happen to the economy, they were forced to discount their clothing just to get buyers in the door. This is just going to be a blip on the economy. If they can consistently do this month after month, well, then it's something to brag about. But this right here, to me, it'll just be a short joy. After that, who knows? So enjoy it while you can. Take advantage of the slightly cheaper gas and slightly cheaper clothes. But once we get into September, we'll see where we are. So you tell me, what do you think? Do you think things have calmed down? Do you really think the economy is rebounding that well? Do you think it's going to consistently stay in that direction? Crashes are the best time to get rich. Here's why Robert Kiyosaki thinks Bitcoin's plunge is great news and how you can take advantage of it. He said the world's largest cryptocurrency soared to $68,990. That was just last November, man. It's crazy. Now it's around 24,000. What Robert Kiyosaki was saying, if it gets anywhere near 20,000, because he thinks that's going to be the bottom, 20,000. And if it gets there, then he's going to invest more into it. But he says here, Bitcoin crash and great news. I'm waiting for Bitcoin to crash to 20,000. We'll then wait for the test of bottom, which might be 17,000. In other words, he's going to see if it does drop below there. He said, once I know bottom is in, I back up the truck. Crashes are the best time to get rich. In other words, he's putting his money right back into these cryptocurrencies. So he still thinks that Bitcoin is the future of money and that its bottom may be lower than 11,000. They seem to have plateaued unless something major comes up that causes them to really crash again. Right now, they've just been creeping up slightly. But it's not just in cryptocurrencies that people do this. They know when to get out of riskier assets, put it into more safer assets, especially ones that you can liquidate really quick so that you can get the cash whenever you think the market's ready to rebound. They jump in on stocks once the stocks are available again at a huge discount, and then they just add more to their portfolio. Does that make sense how these people accumulate more and more shares of the more valuable stocks? That's the same with any assets whatsoever. Sell when it's high, buy on a dip. So I was looking at the charts for Bitcoin, and if you look at it from 1 month's point of view, you could see that you're right down here on the 11th. Well, it was around $19,323. That's a nice little gain over the past month. So that's what is that, 23% increase in value from where it was here on July the 11th? And now that's a pretty good little jump. But is it time to jump back into cryptocurrencies? Is the so-called crypto winter over? I was saying you definitely want some consistency. This is what I was talking about, where they kind of plateaued for now or they're running horizontal. You have to ask yourself, did they hit the bottom or are they starting to go back up? I don't think so. And the reason why that is because we still have not experienced the food shortages that we know that's coming here this fall. And I'm curious to see how that's going to affect the markets. But for now, anyways, at least the cryptos are slowly creeping up, just like we're seeing gold and silver slowly creep up. Anyways, like I said, the sun is shining down on cryptos today, at least for a little while. We'll see if it lasts. Let me know what you guys think. That's it for now. I'll catch you later. I'm out.